Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I am your host Faisal Raza Khan and you are watching Foresight. Viewers, Pakistan categorized as the worst victim of climate change. In fact, among top 10 countries which are the most vulnerable to climate change. Weather anomalies are disturbing Pakistan at its peak, like erratic rainfall and sometimes no rain at all. Sometimes we are facing flash floods, as we have witnessed in 2022, and also sometimes the persistent drought. Since last several years, Pakistan's climate recorded at the hottest with minimal rainfall or average or below average. Unprecedented droughts like conditions, but the consequences are far-reaching. From devastating impacts on agriculture and food security to crippling effects on human health and obviously on economy. As we speak, according to the Pakistan Meteorological Department, Sindh, Punjab and Balochistan are experiencing mild drought. These mild drought conditions are because of the low rainfall and with a 40% decline in rainfall over the past 4 months. We will explore exactly this same phenomena of emerging drought and low rainfall and also very squeezed snowfall in northern parts of the country, its causes, consequences and potential solutions to it. To discuss this very important topic, which is related to the water availability, it is about health, it is about Pakistan's economy, agriculture, food security, and all other aspects which are interrelated not only with rain, but also with the snowfall. To discuss, we have in our studios Dr. Ghulam Rasool. He is the climate change expert, former Director General of Pakistan Meteorological Department, and right now he is the National Consultant on Climate Change as well. Most welcome to you, Dr. Saab. Thank you very much for your presence here. And also Dr. Hidayatullah Khan, he is the Head of Departments of Economic and at National University of Modern Languages, Islamabad. Most welcome to you, Dr. Saab. Thank you very much for your presence.
Thank you.
And online joining us, Professor Dr. Javed Iqbal. He is agroeconomist and Director, School of Economics, Quaid-e-Azam University, Islamabad. Most welcome to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us online. My first question to you, Dr. Ghulam Rasool Sahab, that what it means actually, it's a technical language basically, and for our viewers, when Pakistan Meteorological Department says that during the season, January, February and March, negative phase of El Nino Southern Oscillation is expected to persist, and Indian Ocean dipole is expected to transition from negative to natural phase, and that is likely to persist during the whole season. So, what it means actually?
In fact, these drought conditions prevailing in Pakistan are due to La Nina phase, which is affecting Pakistan. Let's start with some understanding of La Nina and El Nino. El Nino is warming of equatorial Pacific waters near Ecuador, Chile and Peru. That warming is known as El Nino. And when opposite happens, like cooling of eastern equatorial Pacific waters, that phenomena is called La Nina. Whenever they occur, they affect global weather pattern, and Pakistan is also suffering from the same phenomenon. And if we look at the impact of El Nino and La Nina on Pakistan weather pattern, during La Nina conditions, we receive poor monsoon and good winter rainfall. But in La Nina conditions, we get good monsoon and poor winter rainfall. And now this is El Nino therefore, we received poor rainfall from September onward. And this phase is going to over, I think, by the end of spring season.
That is going to be better, or that is going to be worse than ever?
Yeah, that is going to be normal.
Normal, okay.
Under normal conditions, now we are getting rain. Rain will start in February, and then it will continue through March, April.
Means there would be slightly a good news is that there would be a rain, but whether that rain intensity would be accordingly, when you are saying normal, it is going to be normal in a sense that scientifically you are talking about, or you are talking about normal rainfall in generalized term?
I mean the normal climatic pattern of Pakistan.
Okay.
But this will not bring good news, I think, because in March and April, wheat crop will be maturing. It will be in reproductive stage. At that time, temperatures will shoot up, and rainfall will be frequently coming. That will create problems in harvesting and threshing.
Very right, because in most of the areas, particularly in arid zones, the problem is that the seed germination not took place because of the lack of moisture.
Yeah.
And that is the main reason that might be, unfortunately, Pakistan would get lower yield when it comes to wheat particularly. So, Pakistan Meteorological Department, Dr. Sahab, issued 2 advisories, one in December, then in January. Cautioned Sindh, Balochistan and Punjab provinces that they are facing mild drought. As in last 4 months, as you have rightly pointed out, September to January 15th, we saw 40% decline in rainfall.
Yes.
It's 52% drop in Sindh, 45% in Balochistan, and Punjab witnessed at least 42% decline. Do you not think that this phenomena would affect, already it is affecting the human health, now it is affecting the agriculture and water availability for drinking and irrigation purposes as well? Because we have seen that we have very low water in our canals for irrigation, and also underground water is feeling the heat as well.
Yeah, there will be serious consequences of this drought, because after September, when monsoon retreated from Pakistan, there was no good rain. And you know, our 2 dams, Tarbela and Mangla, they have only water holding capacity of 30 days.
Definitely.
And those 30 days, with better management, you can take them to 3 months by rationing of water. But as there was no good rain in the catchment areas of these 2 dams, therefore their level is now near dead level. And wheat requires a lot of water right now, because it is entering into reproductive stage. So that will definitely put a negative impact on crop yield. And also drinking water and irrigation requirements will not be satisfied with the available water.
Dr. Hidayat Sahab, according to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, agriculture contributes at least 24% to the Pakistan GDP, employs at least 37.4% of the labor force, 11% of the livestock dependent on agriculture, land and pastures. Less rain means low wheat, gram, barley, mustard production, low water availability and decline of underground water resources. So what it means actually for economy?
Okay, thank you very much for having me. And agriculture plays a crucial role in Pakistan economy. Almost 1/4 of its GDP come from the agriculture sector. And the crops which you have mentioned are mostly staple food in Pakistan.
Definitely.
So when there is a decline of staple food productivity in the country, it will definitely affect the food security. And when the country will be food insecure, it's mean we are having long-term health issues like malnutrition, stunting, and even it will push a significant proportion of our population, especially those population which livelihood depends on the agriculture sector below the poverty line. So for us, these drought-like conditions can have at least 4% of decline in our GDP, which is around $12 billion US dollars. So by drought-like condition, our economy is facing an economic cost like in the range of $12 billion, which is a very huge cost for a country like Pakistan, and a country which is already struggling and which is already having balance of payment issues and which is already under huge external debt. So to meet the country's requirement, definitely the country will import.
Definitely, if you have a shortage.
Yes, and then who will pay that import bill? Or where from the external finances will come? So it will create kind of economic turmoil in the country in the days to come.
Your point well taken. Dr. Javed Iqbal Sahab, some reports suggest that in Pakistan, the last 9 years, from 2015 to 2024, have been the hottest on record. The current trend setting, the region is witnessing actually plus 2.5 degrees Celsius to 3 degrees Celsius warming by 2100. And as a result of weather anomalies, since 3 years low rain, especially in rain-fed areas who are arid and requires a lot of rain, that's actually threatening ecosystem, agriculture, production, resultantly the economy and society, especially the poor farmers' livelihood and food security is at stake. So what do you think about it? How we have to cope up and what's the condition right now?
I agree with you. For the last few years, we have been experiencing and recording an increasing temperature globally, and you'll be surprised to see that 2024 was the hottest year of the history of the world. And the world average temperature increased to 1.55 degrees centigrade above the pre-industrial level. So really, it is an alarming situation for the whole world and definitely for Pakistan. In case of Pakistan, in Jacobabad in 2024, a temperature of 52 degrees was recorded in Sindh province, and it is really an alarming situation for a country like Pakistan. Now the question is how we are going to be affected and what is our preparation, or how we are going to respond to this type of threat that we have in our economy. The first thing is definitely agriculture sector, which constitute 25% of GDP. The main sector which is relying for livelihood and for food and for every economic activity. This is the main sector that the farmers and the common people they are relying. So if there is less rain, the expert they expect that there will be 30 to 35% reduction in the agriculture production. Now there are two problems. How it is going to affect the economy? Immediately, it will affect the farmers who are living in areas which are, they are dependent, they are relying on rainwater. When they have no rain, they will definitely relying on other sources, maybe tube well or other sources, which will definitely be costly and which will increase the cost of food. On the other hand, when you have low production of agriculture like mustard, like barley, like wheat, which are mostly the big crop, then when you have less production, you will have in the coming years and the coming month, you may have a problem of food security, because when you have less production of food, food prices will go up and definitely a common man will be affected. Now the question is, when you have less rain, less production, more possibility of food security, less exports, and then again we are, the summer season is very, very imminent. Maybe after 1 or 2 months, we are entering a new, summer season, because the summer days now, the summer season is more longer compared to winter. Because
Okay. Dr. Javed Iqbal Sahab, your point well taken. Dr. Hidayatullah Sahab, do you not think that due to the low yield, food insecurity, and resultantly the hunger and malnutrition will rise actually due to the persistent weather phenomena. And it will versely affect Pakistan's currently, as we all know, that it's currently ranked 109 out of 127 countries when it comes to, it was from the data of 2024, Global Hunger Index. With 82% of the population can't afford the healthy diet, 29% are completely food insecure, 18% of the children under 5 suffers malnutrition, 18% of the children under 5 and 40% of the children are stunted, and 20.7% of the population is undernourished. This is the whole scenario through which our health condition, our children are suffering. So how do you see that how this whole phenomena will actually affect the human health, their dietary and all other issues which are confronting right now?
As it has been mentioned by you that Pakistan is already having worse condition as far as the malnutrition and stunting is concerned. What happened that in economics we call it human capital accumulation or human capital formation. So if we are having persistent malnutrition, if we are having persistent stunting in our population, so in long term as that lot of population grows, it burden, like its health burden or the cost of its health on the economy surges. Because in the early stage of their life, the nutrients which they needed or the essential or what you can call it the healthy food it needed for the growth of that population, it was missing. That missing component is seen in the form of burden on your health system. And it affects negatively your human capital accumulation. And as we know, and we probably say that Pakistan has population bulge. And human resource is the biggest strength of Pakistan or biggest potential for its economy to grow and grow faster and the country to progress. So if unfortunately, if that component of our economy will suffer and we will not be having that edge, so can we import human like labor force like Gulf countries or Europe? We are not in that position to even to import the labor force.
Because if you don't have the healthy population,
yes,
they are not going to contribute your
yes,
nation building.
Yes.
It is definite, really.
And another thing that unfortunately our health system is not capable of taking care of that much people as well. So for us, like it is already too late. But for Pakistan, we have to seriously think about the malnutrition and the stunting of our population, especially of our young portion of population, especially those below the age of 5 and below the age of 10 years. We are supposed to have some social safety net.
Actually, that must have to be started from the pregnancy phase.
Yes.
Because if you just take care of the mother,
yes,
and then the feeding time, which was very important, the feeding period,
yes,
and below 5 years of age,
yes,
if the children are healthy in
yes,
that sense, that going to pay to the whole
and
nation.
And you know, we already have, like in case of Benazir income support program, like it is a mega.
Obviously, you are right.
So we should think that how can we contribute through BISP towards our healthy nation and better human capital accumulation.
You are right, because Benazir income support program is a vibrant program in a sense to take care of those who are underprivileged really and suffering from malnutrition or stunting. Dr. Ghulam Rasool sir, what weather report suggests that very little snowfall occur in upper Indus Basin. Many water springs, streams, channels and resultantly the rivers which have been flowing from centuries and crucial actually for farming, the fish farming, drinking and power generation as well. Now dying up or receiving less water inflow. That means the glacial melt in summer and predicted heat waves actually melt will be intense. We expect, like last year, the glacial lake outburst floods, and flooding risks are also looming. If you have an erratic rainfall or a monsoon, it means the summer could intensify the whole phenomena. So, do you agree with this, what the report suggests?
Yes, I agree, but this is very serious concern for the glacier melting process. Snowfall in this season so far is less than average, and we are not expecting more snow up to February. So therefore, the less snow cover over the glaciers, over the mountains, that will negatively impact, that will accelerate the melting of glaciers. Because snow gives additional cover over the ice of the glaciers. First, when warming starts from March, April, then first snow is melting, and then turn of glaciers comes. But in this case, glaciers will directly start melting, and that melting will be accelerating with the increase in temperature in May, June. At that time, Gulf events, glacial lake outburst floods, those may become more common as compared to the normal average of 2-3 Gulfs.
Your point well taken. Dr. Javed Iqbal Sahab, how much disastrous it is that drastically changing weather patterns, especially when it comes to the winter season, is vanishing actually as duration squeezed to only month or two. January generally qualifies as the coldest month of the year, receives fair rain and the snowfall. Its past average was 47.5 inches of the snow, but this year the few inches, number one. And the second is, what about the replenishment of the underground and the river resources? Because when the rain is very low and you have very squeezed snow falling, it means that downstream population is going to suffer. The agriculture is going to suffer. Then the per acre yield is going to suffer. You don't have much production out of the existing crops, and especially those arid and the rain-fed zones. So ultimately, what kind of shape economy is now having in near future? Because we are already a fragile economy, and if we have a low production from the crop side, it is going to pay a lot to Pakistan, really, because ultimately we have a very squeezed foreign exchange reserves as well. So how it is going to import, and how we are going to sustain this kind of agroeconomy?
It's really, a kind of alarming situation for the country like Pakistan, which we have low economic growth, we have economic issues, our exports are already dwindled, and then we have other, like economic issues. So the first thing, because of this squeezing of the weather, is the life cycle pattern of the, crop will be changed. Like when you have 2 months remaining for the winter season, the Rabi crop pattern will be, disturbed. When food crop pattern is disturbed, definitely you have food security problem. The different, alarming situation there we are going and we are expecting in the coming years is because our water reservoirs, they are going to shrink very rapidly. 40% of the river water, it is dependent on the snow and the glaciers, which are melting, and it has become the source of irrigation in the areas like Sindh and Punjab. So if this situation continues and there is no, kind of policy action by the government, like the crop pattern will be changed, do we have weather-resistant crops and varieties that we test in these areas which are heavily dependent on rain? When the rain pattern is disturbed, crop pattern will be disturbed. And if we have no kind of preparedness to tackle this situation in coming year, it will be really a problem for the government, for the general public. And when we are already food scarce country. Like per capita food availability right now in case of Pakistan is around 1,000, while the global average is around 5,000. You can compare 5,000 cubic meter and you can compare like 1,000. We are already at the verge of food scarce country. So if we are rapidly moving below 1,000, it will be really a problem for the country, for a common man, which is already under severe pressure because we have had a corona pandemic for the last 2 or 3 years. Then we have political issues. We are unstable country. Economic conditions are not good. So if weather conditions also remain like this, which we have no rainfall for the last 4 or 5 months, then definitely the government should think because at the mid of the year there will be food shortage problem too, and definitely we will move for imports. If we go for imports, we already have foreign exchange reserves problem. Then again, we have to move to maybe IMF and other countries for foreign loan and
Definitely,
debt. And
definitely.
again,
We
it
are
will affect the
under the
common man.
IMF program and we have already squeezed foreign exchange reserves. So that's why it is going to be a huge burden when it comes to more imports, especially the food imports. Dr. Hidayatullah Sahab, what would be the ultimate impact of to the regional economy, especially when it comes to Gilgit-Baltistan, Chitral and all other areas, as these are earning their livelihoods like hospitality industry, food and beverages, handicrafts, and running allied businesses also due to tourism, skiing, mountaineering, and all others. And that needs a handsome amount of snowfall. Now, when you have a less snowfall, it means that local population will suffer, as the tourism contributes 7% to the local gross domestic product. So how do you see that what would be the ultimate impact when drastically the weather patterns are changing? You are witnessing very low snow and rainfall, and in those areas whose actually their livelihood depends upon the weather.
Sorry. Actually, those regions are known to be ecologically delicate regions, and the most of the time, when we are having change in weather pattern, those are the areas which are most affected. Now, what will happen if there will be less tourism in those areas? The people will be forced to migrate to the urban areas in search of livelihood. It will further increase pressure on
which are already overburdened.
Yes, on our urban resources. And sorry, and by this pressure, what will happen to the economy back at their home? It will come to standstill. So the 7% which we were having earlier from those regions, it will reduce to less than that or even to the zero level. So when we are talking about the climate change or the effects of climate change, those are the regions which are most vulnerable. And in those regions, special policies are implemented. That how we can have sustainable tourism over there, how we can diversify their economies, how we can reduce their dependency on the tourism. And if we are having tourism, it should be eco-friendly tourism. It shouldn't be like that we are kind of extractory, we are extracting each and everything from those regions, and in return we are giving nothing to them.
Definitely.
So we will have to think very carefully about regions like Gilgit-Baltistan, Chitral and other northern areas of Pakistan, that in coming years when the adversities of the climate change will get more and more severe, how we will be tackling those areas.
Definitely. What we call adaptation and mitigation, that is very important,
yes,
that we have to not only just look into that the weather is changing,
yes,
just not as a witness, but also we have to take measures regarding alternatives and the means of livelihood.
Like for that we use the term that climate sensitive policy measures. So I don't know that right now whether we have those climate sensitive policy intervention over there or the climate sensitive policies in place for those regions. I think no.
Your point well taken. Dr. Ghulam Rasool Sahib, is it correct that due to the global warming, Earth is becoming drier? Recent studies show that over 75% of the Earth's land is experiencing increasing dryness. With severe drought becoming more frequent, this trend is actually reshaping the landscapes, stressing water resources, intensifying the wildfires and land degradation. Do you think that this phenomena is actually now affecting Pakistan as well?
Yeah, of course, Pakistan is part of the global community. And over the earth, due to warming trend, as Dr. Javed Iqbal mentioned, that 2024 has been the warmest year on the globe. And 2023 was previously number 1, and now it's number 2. 2016 also number 2 tally. If we look at the dry conditions, in fact, the weather pattern over the globe due to increasing temperature has been changed due to vigorous changes in hydrological cycle. And that hydrological cycle is disturbing the precipitation pattern. Precipitation which was happening with low intensity, now it is occurring with high intensity. I mean in the form of cloud bursts. Even in Europe, you see that these were temperate climates, and during winter, rainfall continued for several days. Now it is happening that all of a sudden cumulonimbus clouds are forming, and they are producing a lot of rainfall in certain locality. Therefore, this patchy distribution of precipitation is leaving some parts of the earth dry and some parts very wet under flooding. So this type of anomaly will definitely, consequently, will leave impacts on the sustainable availability of water resources.
Your point well taken. Dr. Javed Iqbal sahab, what's okay? Your point well taken, Dr. Ghulam Rasool sahab. Dr. Hidayat sahab, under IMF structural reform agenda, government intends to deregulate the wheat market. Now the process of comprehensive strategy formulation is actually going on to create a wheat market while safeguarding the national food security through strategic reserves. Although measures includes reviewing the wheat pricing, procurement mechanisms, and ensuring the price stability, but current weather conditions threatening wheat production even. If you have wheat, then you will take the decisions and all that. So it seems that imports would be inevitable in future, as you have rightly mentioned. So what about the food security in the country? What about these policies? Do you think that first we have to think that we should have those strategic reserves intact and must have to be focused on indigenous resources rather than importing wheat from outside?
Okay, like we were discussing before this program that last year we had bumper crop of wheat, and what happened to that?
And that was the one reason why the farmers not even sow they have not preferred wheat this time, they have alternative crops.
So like thank you, like you have made my answer very easy. First of all, we are already having less area under cultivation as far as wheat is concerned. So one thing that, the second thing, reduction in the forthcoming crop or the next crop due to drought condition. The third thing, like you are already having two type of deficits. So in this situation, how can you think about to have the strategic reserves? The second thing is that most of the time, unfortunately, we have seen the strategic reserves are just on paper. On ground, the situation is something else.
Okay.
The third thing is that, like, where from we will get money
This is the big question, really.
For importing something which was available for us at our doorstep, and last year the farmer were just like they were begging the local governments
Obviously.
to buy their
We have run short of time, but this is another topic and a huge topic, that how we have to actually increase our per acre yield. That is again.
It is an uphill task.
Definitely, it
At
is.
the
It is.
moment.
Dr. Ghulam Rasool Sahab, there was, okay, we have Dr. Javed Iqbal Sahab right now at, Dr. Sahab, what exactly going on when we are talking about the research that tells us that Pakistan is losing 60 to 80% of the rainfall in the snow accumulatively, and average, particularly since 3 to 4 years, especially when we are talking about December to January period. So, what are the expectations that whether we are going for something alternative, whether we are considering some sort of weather models to have the future planning regarding the changing weather patterns, then we have to change the crop patterns as well, or we have to some sort of crops which needs less water consumption, and what kind of urgent measures we need to have to save our food security and also the population not to undermine or not to suffer because of the less wheat production?
You know, the challenge is so imminent that I think no one is going to deny this reality that the challenge is there. Now, the question is how we are going to tackle this issue. I think most of the countries in the world, they have very low rainfall, but they are dealing with this issue very efficiently. Like they have introduced very, water and weather resistant crop varieties, and they give very high yield. If you look at some countries in Middle East, like Israel is the best example in case of research and development, they have introduced very best varieties which can give very good yield given the uncertain and hard weather condition in the world. So what the government can do, they should immediately move to many other countries like China. They also have a very good experience in dealing with weather-related issues. So the first thing is we should move to weather and climate change resistant seed varieties. Secondly, the forest area is very rapidly shrinking in the whole country. In KPK and in the Hazara region and the Malaccan region, few areas are there where there is 45% of the whole country forest area is there.
So
But the forests are, they are very harsh.
Reforestation or afforestation across the country to change the weather patterns, what we are facing right now, because these are basically because of the human interventions that the weather is actually changing. So now we have to return to our reality, and we have to have some sort of reforestation or afforestation in the country to save our future generation and seasons as well.
Yes, yes. So definitely these are the issues, and in the coming year, now we have energy demand because in the summer season you have because of summer and dry season you need some energy demand for you have to use energy utilities, air condition. Again, there will be less capacity of hydro energy because of less rain. 40% of dam water will be reduced. Again, you will be relying on the furnace oil, and again it will be impacting your import demand. And again, they are all interconnected. Livelihood, economy, export, import, food security, food prices. No, the final question is immediate and serious measure needs to be taken by the government, like for the crop variety, for the weather resistant seeds, water availability, and some financial.
Very brief, Dr.
Yeah.
Ramasul sir, because we have run short of time. There was a study of 2019 titled Falling Trend of Western Disturbances into the Future Climate Simulations, which described that winter precipitation in northern Pakistan projected to decrease over the coming century due to the falling western disturbance activity. If this scenario persists, what would be the future of northern food basket, in which Punjab is also there? also to the southern parts, they are now not prepared for the heavy spells and heavy snowfalls. On the contrary, those areas which are already prepared, they are not getting it. So this phenomena was also discussed and given those models in 2019. We are in 2025.
Yes, this study is quite near the reality. Most of the studies converge to this result. According to IC mode predictions, if temperature increase by the end of this century is around 1.5 degrees Celsius, 1/3 of glaciers of Pakistan will disappear. And if 2 degrees Celsius increase in temperature by the end of the century, then half of the glaciers will deplete, will disappear, will lose ice mass. So this is going to be a serious consequence. According to their study, by the end of 2050, the Indus flows will start decreasing, and they will decrease to the minimal. And Indus is lifeline for Pakistan, you know. It takes water from snow and glacier melt, and then monsoon is feeding at the middle level. So monsoon is going to be more stronger in future because of increase in temperature, and that will bring water in
abundance for squeezed period of time.
In heavy spells.
In heavy spells,
Yeah.
definitely.
And
definitely.
that water will not be available, that will go to the ocean if our water holding capacity will not be increased.
Water reservoirs and all that.
Yes.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Dr. Ghulam Rasool Sahab, for being here in the studios. Thank you very much, Dr. Hidayatullah Sahab. And thank you very much, Dr. Javed Iqbal Sahab, for your very candid views and elaborative views. Viewers, you have just listened to our panelists. It's slightly a good thing that, as Dr. Ghulam Rasool already mentioned, that this persistent mild drought might end from February, might have the normal rainfalls at the start of the next month. But these are not going to be much beneficial for the crops existing right now, the Rabi crop. And because the germination process and all others, that was already started when you are sowing your seeds, and unfortunately the crop condition is not much good, and it is going to be a fear that the yield might very low, and because of that there would be, according to our panelists, 4% decline in our GDP because of the agriculture low production, and that cost Pakistan $12 billion to the national exchequer, because we have to ultimately import wheat from outside, and that actually costs the forest reserves. When we are talking about overall phenomena, the agri production is going to lose 30 to 32% across the country, and it is also affecting the health and the nutrition value, also the bringing up our children. So unfortunately, we have the health burden as well, and that actually costs the national exchequer. The winter season actually is squeezing, and summers are now enhancing. So here we have to take very important, very critical steps, that we have to change the weather, change the crop patterns with the changing weather pattern. Along with that, those crops which are actually using less water, drip irrigation system, we have to conserve water as well, because as far as the intensity of the weather, that is actually not only changing, but also that intensity is increasing. So if you have minimal winter, it's minimal to the very low %. And then when it comes to the hottest seasons, the heat waves are there, the elongated summers, so it means the monsoon is also going to be intense. Our northern areas, particularly the Gilgit-Baltistan, is actually losing tourism day by day because of the low snow falling and also the change in weather. So we have to give alternatives, the businesses, the livelihood to those areas as well, because we have to think today if we want to have some sort of a sustainable change in future in a positive sense. Alternative businesses are very important for these reasons. Chatral, Gilgit-Baltistan and all other mountainous region. The climate sensitive policies and measures are needed at the national level. We don't have to just talk. Now we have to take action because time is running out. This is today's Foresight. It's time to sign off. Allah Hafiz.